So today you're not even in the States. You have a company that you built and is running in Nashville, Tennessee, with over entire United States have access to the platform. People can order, like you said, over 5,000 people join every day and thousands of transactions happening per day, but you're not even anywhere near. And you're able to enjoy the entrepreneurial dream of time freedom, location freedom, and financial freedom. So how were you able to accomplish that? And what were some of the systems and processes you implemented to be able to remove yourself from the day-to-day as much as you were able to do today?
Yeah, these days I travel 9, 10, 11 months out of the year, different parts of the world. I really, 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 really love it. It makes me feel alive, and it really makes me feel more motivated to grow the business even more when you are exposed to new parts of the world and seeing different cultures and just different ways of life. It's just a lot of fun, and it really keeps me invigorated because we want to get to 1 million customers, and 100 million in revenue. And so, but I couldn't, people hit me up all the time, and friends are like, I want to do what you do. And I'm like, man, I sat in an office with no windows for 7 days a week for like 5 years trying to get this company going. And so I don't know of any way you can skip that. I think you really got to grind to get the momentum going. And then once you start getting a little bit of traction, getting some money coming in, you can then wear the hat of like a capital allocator. Money comes in, and then you put money back to work to make more money. And it was probably year 5 or 6 that I was able to transition from being in the business every day to more on the business of, okay, now I'm studying the data. Now I'm understanding, okay, what are the people that we need to get on the bus that we don't have? And what does success look like in those roles? And a really simple book about this is The E-Myth by Michael Gerber. And what he talks about in that book is creating an org chart for your business. And you might say, well, it's just me or me and a helper or me and 3 people. I don't need an org chart. Well, you kind of do, because you want to like visualize and externalize what that organization looks like. Who's the CEO, who's the COO, who's head of product, who's head of marketing, who's head of R&D, who's head of customer success, and then what are all the sub roles underneath that? And it might be like your name on most of these roles, but then as time goes on, you can peel your name off these roles and then assign them to subcontractors or employees or freelancers. And then before you know it, if you're doing this right, you can build a real organization around you where you have roles and goals. So you not only have the role of what the head of search engine optimization looks like, but you have the goals associated with what success or failure looks like in that position. And if you do this little by little, and it's easy to get overwhelmed doing it, it's like, where do I even start? Just start at one role at a time. It adds up, it compounds. And then, you can get to a point where as the founder, as the CEO, you can really just focus on the high leverage things, the things that are important, but not necessarily urgent. Those are the places where you can have the most impact, not just, trying to keep the lights on every day.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of nuggets there. Kind of like you said, people are, looking at your success today, they're like, oh, I want to be where you are. I heard recently John Maxwell saying something very similar. He said, someone told him like, oh, I want to be like you. I want to do what you do. And he said, well, can you do what I did to get to where I am today? Which is like 40 years worth of just self-development and research and learning and writing hundreds of books that are bestsellers. But that didn't happen overnight, right?
Exactly.
It's not, right? There's a lot of, like you said, 7 years sitting in a no window room, jugging away to get to where you are. But I think the just that simple concept that you mentioned, which, I think I've heard E-Myth, I've read that book, and I think I've been wanting to get Michael Gerber on the show. I haven't had the chance to do it. But essentially, that whole concept of the organization chart, which helps you to really visualize where are your weak spots.
Right.
And you as a leader can quickly realize, well, I'm not the best person to manage the marketing, or I'm not the best person to hire and train people. You will start to recognize your weak spots, and then you can quickly try to find a key player in that role that can replace you immediately. So that frees up your mind and your brain cells to focus on strategic things that only you could do, which is a very, very important part. And I like what you said, like, it might take you 5 years to get to a place where you can focus on more strategic work on the business activities versus like working in the business, right? Like that's the dream, right? Getting yourself out of the weeds to be able to look at the big picture and have strategic vision and figure out, well, how do I get these things to come to fruition?
If you enjoyed this video, please share it. To make sure you never miss an episode, please subscribe.